Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Illusion. I'm Kunal, aka Chip. I hope you had a good week and you're having a good weekend as well. I have my tea with me, and hopefully, by the end of the episode, it does not become an iced tea. Anyway, I was not actually planning to talk about this today. I actually had another topic in my mind, but I read an article this week. It was proposing that ACSC, Australian Cybersecurity Centre, should become Australia's formal cybersecurity regulator. Interesting, isn't it? And before anyone starts thinking or talking about it, no, this is not going to be an episode where I agree with everything. Hello. And it's definitely not going to be where I disagree with everything either. This is not a criticism episode, which I never do anyway. And the article is also not what this podcast is about. It's just the thinking that led to me after reading the article. When I was reading it, after it actually, it got me asking myself a question. Does it mean do we have a regulatory or a framework problem? Or are we trying to solve an execution problem by writing more frameworks, by writing more rules? Now, before you answer that, let me tell you why I started thinking about it. Okay? Obviously, it's not about ACSC, it's not about the regulation either. But it's about something I have noticed over the years working in this industry. That every time something goes wrong, many times, somebody will eventually say, hey, we need another policy, we need another framework, we may need stronger governance, we need another maturity assessment. Well, I'm convinced somewhere that's where a person whose full time job is just creating frameworks for other frameworks. And honestly, sometimes it feels like cybersecurity has framework than passwords. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying frameworks are not important. They are. Right? I also don't want this to turn into one of those that frameworks are useless. Obviously, again, they are not. In fact, I think they are incredibly important. Why? Because without governance, security does not get funding. Yes. Without regulation, some organizations would not even have a security program. Without accountability, nobody owns the risk, isn't it? So, no, this is not an anti regulation episode. Not even close. But I do wonder then have we started believing that another framework automatically makes us more secure? Because for me, they are two different things, isn't it? So let me ask you something. Think about your own organization, right? Take few seconds, 5, 10, you can pause this video. Say if someone walked into your office tomorrow or send you an email, let's just say that, and asked you or handed you another cybersecurity framework that, hey, there is a new thing out there, this is the list. Do you think that you will be more secure after adhering or addressing that framework? Write your answers down. You don't have to answer straight away. Now, another question. Let's say nothing happens, your day is going by, nobody gave you another framework. But your team got 6 months to become brilliant at executing framework you already have, or they are showing consistency in their response from past multiple months. In either of those, which one do you think would make the bigger difference? My answer is the second. I'm not sure yours. But if your answer is second, exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. And I think that's where this conversation gets interesting. So, let's play this through for a minute. Because I think this is where we sometimes confuse ourselves. Okay. Let's start with an example. Essential 8. Okay. I think it's one of the best things ACSC has produced. Seriously. It gives organization a practice place to start. Correct. And the thing I like most about it, it is changing. As you know, they came up with a new update. And that's what it's supposed to do. Why? Because attackers change, tech changes. The way we work changes, business changes. So naturally, the guidance should change too. And I would actually be worried if it never changed. But then something interesting happened. Do you know what? That when this was actually introduced, everything became essentially aligned. Conferences, webinars, sales presentations, every product you see, somehow they helped with or they were aligned with Essential 8. And I was actually surprised nobody tried selling ergonomic office chairs by saying now Essential 8 aligned. Maybe to be fair, a comfortable SOC analyst probably makes fewer mistakes if they are having that chair. Who knows? But maybe there is something there. And that's not the point. Also, I'm not making a point against vendors. Correct. Or the marketing strategy of whoever had it. They are responding to what customers are asking. And that's exactly what the business do, isn't it? But the illusion was not the vendors or that vendors talked about Essential 8. For me, the illusion was believing that because we had Essential 8 or we bought a product, we would somehow become more secure. Remember, buying capability is not the same as building a capability. Those two things are completely different. Think about it. Let me give you another example. Say tomorrow, I go out and buy a guitar that I can find. The reason I'm saying guitar, I'm not a great player, but my son plays it. It's a great guitar, professional grade, looks fantastic. And question, I like some good guitarist, but honestly, I won't be able to play exactly the same as my son because he has practice. But I can't even play like any other guitarist that I know. Let's say Eric Clapton, obviously, hell not. And absolutely not. The guitar isn't not the capability. Correct. Guitar is just a tool. Right? And the capability comes from thousands of hours of practice on it. So think of it. Isn't security works exactly the same? You can buy amazing tech, great platforms, which has excellent dashboards. Like out of the galaxies and other stuff, like amazing threat intelligence or military grade systems, fantastic. But the questions are, who is looking at it? Who is tuning it? Who is validating the detection and alerts coming from those systems? Who is asking, did that alert actually help? Who is learning from those incidents? Because if nobody is doing that, hey, all I bought was just a very expensive guitar. And I think that's where execution quietly disappears. Because execution is not exciting, isn't it? Nobody posts about it on LinkedIn. People are much more worried about what happened to this company and what they did wrong and what they should be doing. Sometimes I do that as well, right? But we haven't seen success being talked about it. For example, we don't see posts like we successfully reviewed all our detection rules this month. Do we celebrate that internally as well? That's a question. Nobody says or updates, hey, we tested our backups again and it's great. It's possible. Maybe it's part of some PowerPoint presentation. I don't know. Right? And nobody gets promoted because asset inventory was accurate for 12 months. Right? Maybe they should. Who knows? Because that's the actual work that prevents the breach nobody ever hears about. The boring stuff. And for me, that's where resilience live. Think about it, isn't it? See, I have seen, and you might have seen organizations with awesome documentations. Honestly, uh, maybe it belongs in a museum, but who knows? Like flowcharts, playbooks, decision trees, all connected internally together. Something actually happens at 2 o'clock in the morning. Someone clicks on email, or maybe an exec account is compromised. Right, suddenly SOC manager's phone starts ringing. Legal wants an update. Communication wants an update. Your regional exec leadership team wants an update. But nobody says, hang on, everyone, let me just find page 47 of my incident response playbook. Correct. You rely on your muscle memory. You rely on your training. You rely on your experience, your judgment, communications, your practices. And that's what execution is, isn't it? Now, before you think I'm saying regulation doesn't matter, let me disagree with myself. Because I think that's how I do my podcast. I like to raise an idea and counter that as well. There are organizations that absolutely need stronger regulation, no doubt. There are organizations that won't even invest in cybersecurity unless they are required to. Yes. There are boards that only start asking questions because regulation forces them to. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Frameworks create consistency, right? Regulation creates accountability. Governance creates ownership. And all of things matter, guys and girls. They generally do. So this is not regulation versus execution, okay? It is not one or the other. However, it is about recognizing that they solve different problems. Framework tells us what good looks like. Execution is what gets us there. Think. And that's probably the sentence that I've been trying to get to all of you today with this episode. Again, frameworks tells us what good looks like. Execution is what gets us there. So maybe the next time we hear someone say, hey, we need another framework, pause. The better question might be, okay, are we already executing the one we have got? Because if the answer is no, maybe that's where we should start. Okay? So, time for reality check. Repeat. Frameworks create accountability. Capability enables execution. Execution creates resilience. Miss one? And the whole thing starts to wobble. It's like house of card. If one card falls down, everything else goes down. And today I will leave you with one question. Imagine your organization is not allowed any new frameworks next year. Oh, wow. No new regulation, no new policies, nothing. The only thing you are allowed to improve is the execution. Tell me, would your security actually get worse or would it quietly get better? You can respond and comment your answers in the comment section as well. I think I know what my answer would be, of course, but I'm just curious what yours is. Thank you for listening. I'm Kunal, aka Chip, and this has been Beyond the Illusion. I'll see you next time.